Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm Mythic in Arena, so let me know if you're interested about PvP. Okay guys, as promised, here is the Dokidoki Inferno mechanics guide and what it's all about and what you need to know on how to get through this stage. This is not a team building guide, keep that in mind, how Dokidoki Inferno functions. And I basically give you the tools you can work with, and then you can theory craft for yourself what you want to build and how you want to craft your team. Now, before we jump into the details, quick thing in eigener Sache. So just to let you know, guys, for the upcoming days, I'm a little bit busy, so I will be pre-recording stuff, so you have content. Now for tomorrow, you will be getting a Guild War preparation guide. There's currently the defense phase going on for another 22 hours, like early tomorrow my time, so like 16 hours or so. And also tomorrow you will get a 2x event guide, what you want to do with your stamina, everything for this guide. This is also planned for tomorrow. You probably watched some other creators, but you might be interested in my take on the 2x event and want to know what I will do in that event and what you should do as well. Then there are two more topics. Let me know, leave a like on this video, let me know in the comments. If people are interested enough, I will carry you in PvP as well. Now, if we look at the Inferno clears, there is one misconception about one specific shell that you are seeing being used in the Inferno dungeon, and that is Revelation. Now, TLDR from my side, Revelation is actually extremely bad. If you want to know in detail why it's so bad, and watch the in-depth shell guide I made where I compared all the damaging shells, where I also did Revelation and it was extremely underwhelming. But now you will be saying, but the people are using Revelation in Inferno, there has to be something going on, right? Yeah, there is one specific reason they are using it, and it has its niche actually just for Doki Inferno, nowhere else. We will get into that right now. Now let's take a look why it is so difficult actually to do Dokidoki Inferno. They have a golden buff which reduces damage taken by 90%. 90% and removes when affected by control effects and regains this effect after 2 turns. To top it off, they also have an additional 120% resistance. Now this is why you're dealing a lot less damage. And I will now show you footage to really explain what is happening and why Revelation could be useful or is useful just for Inferno. Now this is a footage I recorded using MaTeIRiA. I applied the CC, so the damage reduction effect got removed, and now MaTeIRiA is ready to actually deal damage. And let's take a look how much he's actually dealing. I will actually set it to around 0.5 speed so we can actually see what's going on here. So you have 2 screenshots. I will show you the screens afterwards as well. But you can see here the initial hit, 46k. So depending on what's going to happen, we see different numbers, right? 42, 46. Why is it? Here we do not have a defense break. Here we do have a defense break. There we don't have a defense break. We have different effects. But this one we're hitting the hardest with 46k. And then there's the second hit coming. Boom. One died and one survived. And there are 2 more. And this guy had no defense break. That's why he survived. Okay. Now this is for the count build with MaTeIRiA, and now we replace count with Revelation on him. Now here is the footage where I'm using the Revelation shell. You can see here is the buff going on and we are in mid animation. Now let's take a look how much Revelation true damage actually deals. So you have an understanding. Boom. Here I have to stop immediately. So for the people who are watching this, to get an understanding what Revelation actually does, it is the white number. The white number is the true damage, and the true damage is separate from the damage your MaTeIRiA or whatever DPS you're using deals. That's a separate number. Now we are seeing a very good example of what's going to happen here. Now on this side, these 2, they are CC'd, so they do not have the shield going on. That's why we can actually deal damage. You see here 37k and 27k, and then you see an additional 9,000 damage, 8,000 damage. That is the true damage. That is the effect of the Revelation. Now on the right side, we actually didn't CC the enemies, so they do have that, so we have a 90% damage reduction, and because of that we are only critting for 2700 and 1800 damage. Legitimately no damage whatsoever. Now where the revelation part comes in is because the true damage ignores the damage reduction effect, you're still dealing that extra 8700, 8400 here, okay? So this is basically the part. And also if we combine these numbers together, so we actually dealt 46k here and we did 35k on this one if we add these true numbers on top of it. Then we have the second hit as well, we have to look at that, and boom, you can see here 8000. So this is very consistent depending on how much attack you have, because it really caps out on your own attack and not really on the enemy's max HP. It is not as high as you might think. Some reason help a little bit in Inferno because of that shield. Because sometimes that shield is active, and when the shield is active, the true damage portion helps you to deal at least a little bit of damage. But the real damage comes from removing that shield, not because you're using Revelation, because of the misconception Revelation is doing all the damage. No, the damage comes in if you correctly CC your targets. That's the point. Now this is the stuff I just showed you. You can see it now here again. You see these damage numbers. I showed you on account MaTeIRiA build, 45k, 40k, stuff like that. And then the second hit, then we got the Revelation MaTeIRiA, which is basically in terms of damage, give or take, it's about the same. Now where the revelation part could be slightly better is when you do not land your CC, and that's why the true damage portion helps a little bit more in that situation. But if you really land a full defense with full effects, then count is potentially just stronger overall. But give or take, you can use both of these shells. Now the problem with Revelation really is that you only have that true damage portion for one turn, and after that one turn it's on 3-turn cooldown, so it's not gonna be active for another 3 turns, which is fairly annoying. But you know what, at some situations you can make use of it, especially now in the Inferno part. Then next up, what I discovered while testing it, because I wanted to know how much HP these targets have. Now the guards have 80k HP, the middle guards have 90k HP, the big boys have 100k HP, and the thick boy has 150k HP. So I did my testing and calculated everything because I was able to one-shot these units and did a little bit of adjustments. So I figured out these values based on my tests, how much HP they have, and I actually managed to one-shot these minions, which I will show you in a minute. And then also showing you another screenshot. I sadly didn't record the second part. I forgot to press the save button, but here is a Count Remoka screenshot where I just used her. Now in this situation what you can see is there's 27k, 27k, 27k. Now the only important part really here is, even though it's not showcased in the screen, which is extremely annoying if I think about it, but nonetheless, basically with Remoka, her splash damage, even if the enemies have that shield active, her splash damage does full damage. Okay, so the full damage. This is, by the way, still unoptimized Remoka, which I used here in this scenario. And also one thing I forgot to mention here or add here, these units have 285 speed. Those are fast boys. I don't know how much speed Dokidoki has, if she's always getting turn 1 or if she just has extremely high speed. But after my testing, I concluded these have 285 speed, so you need, or 284 speed could also be the case, is what you need. And those units are a little bit slower. They are on the slower side with 280 speed or 275 speed, around that, and they are roughly the same as the guards. And the big boy is also, I think, slightly slow, but the thing is, the second wave is not even that important anymore at this point. It's just the first wave. Just so you know, as a reference, that these units are extremely fast, and if you want to get turn 1, you need to have above 285 speed. Now, after doing a lot of tests, I came up with the following team, with the following setup right here, which is Kazuyo, Claus, Beyonten, MaTeIRiA, and Remoka right now, because I really just wanted to test, can I one-shot these waves? Can I clear it? Can I get like a consistent fast team one way or the other? Now this is here a showcase, I didn't beat it because it didn't work quite yet, but I will show you how the strat is basically and what is lacking. I might have just to reset Remoka and go with Ziada instead, but that will be then a separate video I will show you at some point in time. But as I said, today is just showing you the mechanics and the idea behind that to make you think, to make, oh, I can do this and that now, okay? So first and foremost, we start off with Kazuya. We're gonna use S3, and what needs to happen is they need to be stunned. Okay, now as you can see here, they were all stunned. Now the defense buff is removed from them. And we have here on the class, we have the Black Dragon as well as for on the Kazuya, we also have the Codex as well. Now we want to debuff. And then with Beyonton, we are going to buff our team as well. Also with the Codex. And now we have Messiah with the Revelation. And now we're using the S3. Look at the damage. 2 hits. And now they're super low on damage because of the combination that we removed all the shields. If someone resists, that doesn't even work at this point. The shield has to be removed, otherwise this does not work. And now we can use our Remoka and kill the second wave. 34k splash damage was very low right now because not all her attacks critted, because I have her on an attack crit damage build right now with like only 50% crit rate. So I'm reliant on RNG. Now we have here, okay, except for the middle one, we did not land the defense break, which in my opinion is fine in the situation. Now we're going to use S1. We removed all the shields now. Interesting. Let's see. Can I even get through it? It would be hilarious if I can. Now there's a question I always was like, do I want to use now my S3 or do I want to use now my S2? Let me look at the situation right now. If I look at my units, I'm on a 3-turn cooldown. I could buff up. You know what? I think I gamble right now because I never did that once. Go with a second attack buff, crit buff. And now, since the left one is the one that has the highest... Oh no, why did my Messiah... Ah, he got pushed back. I should have pushed my Messiah. Yeah, now we are back here. Now with the setup. Now let's use the S3 again. Before now Messiah is moving first. We need that he's moving first. And then we are going to use his S2 on the rightmost and hit him 3 times, trying to get him low. Now we're going to use the S3 of Remoka onto him. Let's see, can we crit everything? Boom. And there we go. Got them fairly low. But now this is the point where I kind of struggle in general here in this situation. So who is moving next? This guy, but he doesn't have that buff active right now. I think I just tried to stun the middle guy. It didn't work. And now obviously Remoka got stunned, which is annoying. A lot of runs, I just didn't seem to make it work currently. But at the end of the day, obviously also use something else. Go like a tanky route. Single DPS with like a Messiah, for example, with Valerian and everything and so forth. And could potentially just tank through it really. For me, it just wasn't fun. Because of that, I decided to, you know what, I want to see if I can make like a fun 1-minute team. But yeah, this is the point where just like hit a wall. I got them like the furthest I got was that the middle guy was the last survivor with, let's say, around 15% HP left. But also manual, like the first wave you can auto, but the second wave you have to manual at this point, because there's also that huge RNG part. Can you stun or not? So probably with a little bit more damage and something like that, it could potentially work with more attack stats and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just a quick mechanical theory video about how Dokidoki Inferno works. Not a guide on what team you're going to use, but basically giving you all the tools and understanding on how to approach Inferno Dokidoki. So guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it. See you with the next one. Deuces. Oh wait, I got that one SSR summon from the 14-day lock-in. Let's do one summon at the end of the video and see what I get. I'm just curious. Like, not really that I need anything, and it will be a dupe nonetheless, but what is it? Oh, Mia.